Water, an essential resource we use every day. But often we don't think about what it takes to turn surface water into drinking water, or how stormwater and wastewater is treated and released back into the environment. Well, today we're taking a look at these operations in Erie. Joining me now is Chief Water Plant Operator, Chris Harris. Chris, thanks for having us by today.
Hi, thanks for coming.
Can you just tell us about some daily operations here and really what goes on in this facility?
Yeah, so we bring water in that originates on the western slope. So it is transported here through a number of tunnels and reservoirs and canals. And we oxidize the water. We add chemicals to remove fine particles. So that's called coagulation and flocculation sedimentation. Then here we have filters. We filter it with membrane filtration that's 0.4 microns. And then we disinfect it with chlorine. We adjust the pH for corrosion control. And then we add fluoride for oral health.
Okay, so what you're doing is really taking groundwater and making sure that it is safe to consume for Erie residents.
So technically it's surface water. So groundwater is underground. So groundwater can be subject to things like fracking. Our water is all surface, so it's things like snowmelt, and it's collected originally off the Colorado and Fraser rivers, and from there northern water brings the water to us. And so yeah, it's all technically surface water.
Excellent.
And we do make it safe to drink. So we meet all water quality parameters set by the Colorado Department of Health and Environment and the EPA.
Okay. And I know Erie residents sometimes have said they can taste a difference in the water at certain times of year. What's causing that?
Yeah, so in the wintertime, all of our water comes from Carter Lake. So the Southern Water Supply Pipeline brings water from Carter Lake directly to the plant, and that supplies enough water for us all winter. But in the summer, we need additional water. So that comes from Boulder Reservoir. From Boulder Reservoir, it comes through canals, and we pump that water here from a pump station just west of town. And so the water quality from Boulder Reservoir tastes a little bit different than Carter Lake, but we treat it with the same level of treatment.
So it's totally fine to drink even if the taste changes from one day to another.
It does, and we do have tools for taste and odor. So we've got a pre-oxidant, which is sodium permanganate. So we use that to help with taste and odor, and then we also have powder activated carbon and some granular activated carbon that we can use, and that's good at removing taste and odors.
So now with an increased population in Erie and the town really projected to continue to grow, what are the plans for water treatment in the future for Erie?
Yeah, so in the future, additional water supplies are going to be brought online. So Boulder Creek and Philly Lake in the interim, and then eventually the Northern Integrated Supply Pipeline will be built, so NISP from Northern Water will bring water from north of Port Collins here, and there'll be an additional water treatment plant built here in Erie as a peaking plant to supply future growth.
Is there anything else you'd like the community to know about water treatment operations in Erie?
That we take it very seriously. We take their health and safety very seriously. Any water quality complaints, we follow through. We'll measure the water quality. We try to be as responsive as possible, and we always have their health and safety in mind.
Excellent. Well, Chris, thank you so much for having us by today. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned because next we're headed to Erie's wastewater treatment facility. I'm joined now by Chief Plant Operator John Coyle. John, thanks for having us by the North Water Reclamation Facility today.
Great to have you.
Well, to start, can you tell us a little bit about the operations here at the wastewater facility?
So to start, basically how this all works is anything that goes down a drain in the town of Erie, whether it's a shower drain, toilet drain, or a sink, comes down to the wastewater plant. So we deal with anything from feces to trash that's flushed down the drain, food particles, anything like that. We take everything that's in the wastewater that we need to get rid of, and we convert it into a settleable form, settle it out, and then send it to the creek. The reason this is important is because without this system, all this raw sludge would be going to the creek, and you'd have issues with downstream contamination. The water would be not potable. Nobody would be able to drink anything. People would be getting sick. You'd have fish kills. So the process here is very important as far as environmental factors go.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about that process. What does this facility handle? What are some of the daily operations here?
Everything comes down the drain, but not everything in the entire system is usable. This operation is very organic. It's biological. The wastewater plant has difficulty processing artificial materials, some stuff like feminine hygiene products, prophylactics, things like that. So stuff that can't be broken down organically, we can't handle here at this facility. So the first thing we have to do is we have to screen out all those contaminants. We screen those out, we put them in a dumpster, and we send them to the landfill. After that, the rest of the contamination is what we consider dissolved solids. And if you think back to middle school days, dissolved solids are what's part of the water, and it can't be settled out easily. So if you shake it up as much as you want, set it on the counter, it's going to stay there forever because it's bound to the wastewater. So in order to get rid of that, we pump it into a basin, which you see behind us here. And in these basins are millions and millions of small bacteria, and what they do is they consume those contaminants, and then we send those into a settling basin, and then those bacteria settle to the bottom, and then clean water comes over the top. We disinfect that water and send it to the creek. It's a little bit oversimplified, but that's the gist of what happens here.
So with the holidays approaching, I'm sure you often see people dumping grease down the drain during this time of year, turkey grease, bacon grease, and whatnot. Should people try to avoid that if possible?
Yes, that's actually a pretty common problem in wastewater facilities. The grease can cause severe foaming to the point where it's actually overflowing the basins. Usually it doesn't cause too many process issues, but it's very unsightly and very hard to get rid of. So bacon grease, any kind of meat grease should be put in the trash and disposed of properly rather than put down the drain. Not only that, it can mess up the the collection system as well. That's the system that basically carries all the wastewater to us. And if that all clogs, then it's going to come up in your home.
Thank you. And how many people work at this facility? How much manpower does it take?
There are 5 of us, me and 4 operators.
And is it basically run by machines, or what does it involve for the people who?
So the actual process is all automated, but obviously equipment goes down every once in a while. It needs to be maintained. But the most important thing in our daily operations is our testing. So when we discharge to the creek, we have to abide by a permit. So the state issues a permit with a bunch of parameters ranging from pH, ammonia, BOD, E. coli, all these different parameters, a variety of metals, and we have to meet all of those in order to discharge to the creek. If we don't, then we get a violation, and then the state can fine us up to, I think it's $56,000 a day. So testing is very important, and we test for all these parameters in-house, and we also test for a variety of parameters that help us gauge the health of the system.
John, thanks so much for your time today. Before we go, is there anything else you'd like the community to know about wastewater operations?
I'd say the most important thing for community members to note is that the wastewater plant is not designed to take oils and grease and artificial products such as feminine hygiene products and prophylactics. So refraining from putting those down the drain helps us substantially.
John, thanks again. And up next, we're taking a look at stormwater operations. Joining me now is Stormwater Coordinator Misty Hall. Misty, thanks for being here today to talk to us about stormwater operations in Erie.
Of course.
So to start, can you give us a broad overview of what the storm operations are in Erie?
Yeah, the stormwater program in the town of Erie is a Phase 2 permit issued by the state of Colorado. That permit has a bunch of requirements that our stormwater program manages that range from conducting construction inspections of all the growth in Erie to training our municipal staff on how to have better operating procedures so we don't impact the waterways negatively.
Okay, so it seems like it's quite a process. How do stormwater operations benefit people in the town of Erie?
Stormwater operations, the basic requirement of it all is to protect the waterways, whether it be from pollutants that are just running through the ground and entering our water bodies to an unfortunate spill at a restaurant or in somebody's front yard.
So Misty, if you could take us through the process a little bit and explain how those pollutants are taken out of the water in Erie.
That's the important thing for everybody to really understand about stormwater is really any precipitation that falls, whether it be melting snow, rain. It runs across an impervious surface, picks up any pollutant, and goes directly to our water bodies. Stormwater isn't treated. So whatever pollutant it is, whether it be blowing your leaves in the street to having an oil spill, it all goes directly into our waterways, affecting all downstream users.
Is there anything else you'd like residents to know about stormwater operations in Erie?
Yeah. All of our stormwater information, you can go to the Town of Erie stormwater page. There's great resources how to help protect the water quality in Erie. There's resources that can help our commercial business owners, our residents, and I'm always available to come and provide education to anybody who wants support, learning how their behaviors impact our water quality.
So what are some steps residents can take to help protect the water in Erie?
Absolutely. Our residents can be thoughtful to always pick up their pet waste. They can collect all of their leaves or mulch them. They can participate in any of our household hazardous waste cleanups. They can, if there's a vehicle spill, all of our vehicles sometimes have problems, make sure they clean it up because all of these pollutants, like I said, they aren't treated and they go directly to our waterways. A great way to notify the town if you see any pollutants that have either been a spill or a possible concern is we have an illicit discharge hotline on our stormwater page that we respond to every concern that our residents have. So just go to the Town of Erie stormwater page and we'll respond to any concerns.
Okay, that's really important information.
Yes.
Misty, thank you so much for being here today and chatting with us
Of
about
course.
this important topic.
Of course.
And thank you for watching Inside Erie. Until next time.